Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the fastest podcast on the airwaves today, the Cat's Corner podcast, with your host, the four-time world karate champion, WWE legend, WCW legend, Ernest the Cat Miller, along with your co-host, Ray Big Shug Keziah, manager of future Hall of Famers. We are joined today by the one and only Shane Taylor of Shane Taylor Promotions. What's happening in your world, Mr. Taylor?
I'm good, boss. Thank y'all for having me. But I noticed you ran down all the Cat's accolades as you should have. When you introduced me, dog, you better introduce me with the same respect that you give him. Former Ring of Honor World TV champion. The best Ring of Honor World six-man tag team champion. Add my respect, dog. Add my respect, dog.
Absolutely.
Hey, Shane.
Absolutely.
Cat, what's wrong with this man?
Almost a 20-year veteran of the squared circle. My apologies.
I like that, baby. I like that. But let me get down to it, man. And I'm gonna tell you why you on here with me. I did not know. I don't watch a lot of wrestling now, and I'm just not getting back into it. But you know, when I met you, we were backstage at AEW. That's when I remember you. Just so nice, and we had a good conversation before you ever went out. But then I stayed back there and I watched your match. And it blew me away. Man, I mean, let me tell you something. That's one of the best. I've hardly ever seen a match recently that live that really kind of blows smoke and hot. It gives you everything you want, man. I mean, a lot of energy. And that match, watching that match you had with, who were you wrestling that day? You remember?
Was that Ospreay?
No, it wasn't him. I can't remember the guy's name now. But let me tell you something.
Doesn't matter.
You guys blew it up, man. I mean, you looked so good when you came back. I told you I got to know you a little bit. I asked you like, bro, that was good, man. How long have you been wrestling? What's going on in your life? That was really good. You listen, I'm a legend. And you caught my attention just by your work in the ring. So what are you up to these days? What are you doing now?
We're Resite. Of course we offer all-inclusive site work. We're Resite. Of course we have a dynamic site crew. We're Resite. We have secure foundations. We're Resite. Of course we're good stewards. Resite redefines the way site work is done. Contact us at resite.com. It's re-site.com.
Right now, I'm healing up my shoulder. Had a little dislocation there, but we all good. Should be ready to go in the next 3 weeks. My job right now is making sure that my guy Lee Moriarty, who is the Ring of Honor Pure Ring of Honor Pure champion, making sure his mind stays right. Making sure my guy Anthony Ogogo, who just came back from doing commentary at the Olympics, just saw him at Wembley, making sure they're good. My job is to keep them focused. And then in these next 3 weeks, once I'm back, start whooping everybody's ass again.
Hey, you know, Anthony Ogogo, you know, he worked with me a little bit down at the Nightmare Factory.
Oh, yeah. Anthony Ogogo is insanely talented.
He's very talented, one of the nicest guys, man. And he was really dedicated, too, because he was still living in, like, England somewhere, right? And just coming over to work. So how did you guys hook up? Who hooked that up?
When you sit back and you talk to people and you find like-minded soldiers, it's only natural that you're going to gravitate towards each other. With him being an Olympic bronze medalist, me being a boxing fan and training my entire life, that's initially how we started talking. And once I saw his passion, his dedication, his willingness to learn, his drive to want to be successful, how we view this industry and the strides that we all know that as Black men we can continue to take forward. Once we started talking, it was really it was really easy to see that that was going to be a pairing that was going to be fruitful for the both of us. And that's my job. My job is to take wrestlers and to take people from different backgrounds, give them the confidence, instill the confidence in them that they're supposed to already have. And not that he's not a confident dude. He very much is, as well as Lee Moriarty. But my job sometimes is to remind people of just who the hell they are. And regardless of what this industry tells you that you're supposed to be or what you're not supposed to be, regardless of what the society tells you that you're supposed to be or not supposed to be, it is my job to remind you of just who the hell you are. And when you can do that with a man like Anthony Ogogo, when you can do that with a man like Lee Moriarty, their potential is off the charts.
Hey, you know what? You sounding a lot like Shane Taylor. Then I hear like flashes of Mark Shepard. You know, I mean, now wait a minute. There's nothing wrong with either one of them. But I know it's a story behind Mark too, right? Like who or what got you into wrestling?
My family got me into wrestling. Growing up East Side, Cleveland, Ohio, you have to grow up very fast. I've seen more death than I care to talk about. I've seen, you know, I tell people all the time that I was a grown man at 9, right? I've had to bury more people by the time that I was 11, 12 than I can even count. And when you come from an environment like that, you look for any way to try to find semblances of peace, to try to find small things that you can hold on to that get you to the next day. And for me and for my family, it was boxing and it was wrestling. And so what we would do is, you know, back in the day, they didn't have as many pay-per-views as they do now. So there are about 4 or 5 big pay-per-views.
Hey, Jay, I hate to cut you off, but I want to prove this to somebody. Say what you just said again about pay-per-views.
Oh, there weren't that many pay-per-views back in the day. There were only like 4 or 5 big ones. I think you had like your SummerSlams, your Survivor Series, your Royal Rumble, you had Mania, and then maybe I want to say King of the Ring, but even King of the Ring was like a newer one. So we would each, and my family, thank God for us, all lived within a few blocks of each other. So each house would get about 1 pay-per-view a year, and that's where we would go to watch it. And during those times where we were watching wrestling, everybody would be there. So it would be one of the few times that you would just know, and you would have a semblance of peace because you would know, okay, everybody's here, right? You're not going to have to worry about getting a call that somebody got shot. You're not going to have to worry about a call that someone's getting jumped. You're not going to have to worry about who did this, who did what. Everybody is here. And when you're able to do that and able to kind of close the door on the outside world and just enjoy that, I cherish those times. And I thought to myself, this is something that I want to do, because if it allows me to have this feeling, if it allows me to be able to spend this time and enjoy these characters, enjoy these stories, and enjoy everything that I'm watching right now, then I want to be able to provide that to other children and to other people, especially the ones that look like me, because I know what they're going through. I've been there. I know the trauma, and I know that feeling of hopelessness and worthlessness that you get when you live in places like that, and you can, and the world tells you that nobody cares.
So you're speaking like a baby face right now.
It's real shit.
So when you say you got your piece, and you got it in wrestling and boxing, so your piece come from kicking people in the face and stumping people's heads and knocking their head off. I can understand what kind of mean. You a mean sucker, boy.
Hey, man. Listen, some people find their peace with paintbrushes. Some people find their peace with music. Everybody's an artist. My brushes just happen to be these hands. You know what I mean? And I paint masterpieces, Cat. You didn't see me, baby.
I like it. So growing up in Cleveland, were you a big sports fan in Cleveland? Are you a Browns fan?
Yeah,
Cavaliers
it's Cleveland
fan?
everything. It's Cleveland everything.
Cleveland against the world.
I'm talking about from when we had the Lumberjacks to the Crunch. Now we got the Gladiators. Now we got the Guardians. Always going to be for the Browns. You know, and it's Cleveland, everything, and it's Ohio State.
Okay. All right.
Shout out to my dad too, who happens to be a Michigan fan, even though you're from the city. Come on, bro. He's doing the most. He always does. But it's all right.
Man. Hey, how about family member, man? You got brothers, sisters, or were you the only child? What? How was that?
No, I have 3 brothers. Ryan, Marshall, and Tyrell. I'm the oldest. And so it's on me, even though I think all except Ryan, they're all taller than me now. And so now they like to try to run their mouth a little bit, but you know how that goes. You can get humbled and you can get knelt up real quick. So even though they're all 6'3" and 6'4" and all that, I can bring you down to 5'8" real quick. You know what I'm saying? So, but those are my guys. Grew up just making sure that they were taken care of growing up and making sure that they understood who they were. They understood what our last name was. They understood what that meant. And they understood that we live in a world where by no means do you let anybody disrespect you. Now, you can do the smart thing and you can walk away from situations, but sometimes every situation can't be walked away from. And in those in moments like that, when you have to show people who you are, leave no doubt.
Well, Big Shane Taylor, I know you've been a champion a few times in a few different places. Can you give me a few of those places so the fans will know exactly who they're talking to? They want them to know that you are a champion and you still reaching for that goal.
If we're starting right here in Texas, I'm the first 3-time VIP World Heavyweight Champion, SOAR World Heavyweight Champion, Texoma World Heavyweight Champion. When you go up and down the coast, I've held multiple championships in Ohio and Pennsylvania. I the highest peaks that I've reached, you're talking about the longest reigning at the time Ring of Honor World 6-man Tag Team Champions, the first all-black team to accomplish that feat. You're talking about one of the most dominant, if not the most dominant Ring of Honor World Television Champion. I have a stutter, so excuse me.
All right.
But you're talking one of the most dominant champions to ever hold that championship. And when you look at the lineage of that title, you're looking at guys like Jay Lethal. You're looking at guys like Samoa Joe, Roderick Strong, Tomohiro Ishii, Ospreay, and the prestige of that championship, Kenny King as well. So when you look and ask who is the most dominant champion to hold that championship and my name comes up, that's got to let people know that this is not a game over here.
You're serious. You're a champion. You're right where you're supposed to be. And I want you to know that. I don't care what people say, try to tell you who you are and who you're not. You got to know exactly who you are yourself. And right now, you that champion, you in that business because you can make a difference. So
let's go back. Let's go back. Hold
up, Ray.
Hey, don't cut Cat off, man. Don't cut. That's he's a 4-time world karate champion. Come on, dog.
He ain't bulletproof.
So what I was saying to you is this right here. Now, knowing that you are that champion, who did you watch growing up? Who was your favorite? Let's just say your favorite wrestler, black wrestler.
Ron Simmons. For the longest time, and you know this, Cat, for us to be in this sport, we had to be caricatures of black culture. Now, while everybody else can take our culture and create legacies and make millions, somehow when we use our own culture, we are stereotypes and we are insulted and we are disrespected for that, whether it comes to wrestling, whether it comes to music, whether it comes to anything else. So Ron Simmons was one of the first guys that I saw. that was able to achieve the highest of highs, being a black male, being taken seriously, being an athlete, and going around and just whooping people's asses. And to hold himself the way he did in that era and in that time was absolutely incredible to see. To have him beat somebody like Vader, too, who at the time was an absolute monster and one of the best big men ever to grace a ring. To have him beat Vader and to see that was absolutely incredible. And that was one of those times where it was like, damn, okay, this is possible. And a lot of times for us, man, that's all we need to know. We don't need you to hold the door open for us. We don't need you to give us special treatment. We just need to know it's possible. And once we know that, just move out our way.
Now, when you talk about Big Van Vader, I worked with Vader. And Vader wasn't an easy person to work with. He would shoot on people if you was like too light or you were doing something wrong in there. But for him to take the 1, 2, 3 from Ron Simmer like he did in the middle of the ring, that shows that he had much respect for Ron Simmer just as much as we did as black wrestling. So that's a good name right there. But let's just talk about the world champion. Who was your favorite world champion in this business? It could be from here, from right where we are to back in time. Who would you choose that this is one of my favorite champions?
One of my favorite champions. Damn, that's so tough because so many champions bring so many different things to the table.
Can I throw one out for you? Please?
Please.
How about Swerve?
He's up there. He's up there.
What do you think about him?
I think Swerve Strickland is an anomaly unto himself because in this day and time specifically, especially in this era, when you can have someone do as many things as he does, like he really is a mogul. Like he's wrestling, he's rapping, he's acting, he's doing stunt work, he's putting out shoes, putting out clothes. Like the man's got his hands in everything. I just watched him go to war with Bryan Danielson, arguably the greatest wrestler of all time, in a 50,000 plus in Wembley Stadium last night. Have an incredible entrance with Bun B and Garments and Prince Nana, who's also Prince Nana, one of the greatest managers of all time. And it's sad that he's only just starting to get his flowers and get his love now, but I'm glad he's getting it. To be able to see them perform and to see them go out and do their thing was absolutely incredible. And to be able, Swerve's got this ability to be able to block noise out that very few people have. And that's something that I truly respect about him, is because there's a lot of it. When he won the championship, not only is he hearing it from one side, but he's hearing it from the other side, which to me makes no sense at all, because we do not, especially in this industry, we do not have the privilege. We do not have the we do not have the luxury, is the word that I was trying to find. We do not have the luxury of getting to pick and choose where our wins come from. So when we get a win, we as fans, we as Black people should appreciate that for what it is, right? To see somebody bust, because what he did is not easy to do. What he did is damn near impossible to do. When you think about the history of this game, and you know this, Cat, I can only think of maybe 10, maybe 11 Black world champions who've been able to do what he's done in the entire history of this fucking, I mean, like, sorry to cuss, but like in the entire history of this game, there's 11 people maybe. And Swerve Strickland has done that. And to be able to be let go from this company, to come over here, to then reinvent himself again, to then climb the mountain again, to then bring his people with him again, and to do so in an era where he's hearing it on all sides. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. Now, has he done some things along the way that, you know, maybe he's regret it as far as like going in Hangman's house and being next to his kid and all that, maybe. But you got to do what you got to do. You've got to do what you've got to do to be the man in this sport, and he's done it.
Well, I was going to ask you about what happened with him and Hangman, but you know what? If you don't want to tell the story, I'm not going to ask you.
No, man. Tell me the story. Like, listen, you know what? You're right. You tell me the story. I'm here to listen. You're right.
But you know what? I'm glad you feel like that, man, because you're such a humble guy. But you know, I'm not a fan of wrestling. I'm a product of this sport in the business. I want to see like my co-host, Big Ray. If you as a fan got the opportunity like you have now to speak to Shane, what are some of the questions you think the fans would want to know?
Well, like I was saying a minute ago, I wanted to go back to the Ring of Honor days when I first got to know who you were was back in 15 when you and Keith Lee, the Pretty Boy Killers, were tagging. How was that? Because that's, to me, is when I first saw the shine that you were going to get eventually, because you guys were a good tag team, I thought.
We were a great tag team, and we had only been together a little over a year at that point. And when we were just stepping into that Ring of Honor tag division, you're looking at the All Night Express, you're looking at the Young Bucks, you're looking at War
Machine.
Briscoes, War Machine. So you're talking about one of the best tag team divisions that could have ever been assembled. And that's what we were about to walk into. And so the opportunity to be able to cut our teeth in that division could have led to some incredible matches, incredible stories. One of the best stories of our career was when we first got in, and it was against War Machine. For those that don't know who that is now, that is the Viking Raiders. That is Eric and Ivar, better known as Todd and Ray. Shouts out to my boy Ray Rowe as well. He's the man who trained me and got me into the sport. But tagging with Keith was incredible because both of us, personality-wise, are yin and yang.
Right.
Keith Lee is very much an intellectual, borderline, if not certified genius. The man's brilliant, right? And so you add that brilliant mind in a body that is that big, that can do, and that athletic, that powerful, that fast, with the agility to do the things that he's doing. He's a walking highlight reel, right?
Yeah, he moves like a cruiserweight. He moves like a cruiserweight.
Right, but he's 300 plus. That's a problem. You know what I mean? That's a problem for anybody.
Another question I got is, now that you're both in AEW, has there been some discussions about maybe reuniting the Pretty Boy Killers?
I've talked to Keith about it, and we've had the talk, but we are both guys who are timing guys. Things have got to be the right time for certain things. I know he's healing up from injuries and a couple surgeries now, so salute to him and speedy recovery. God bless him. And I know he's dealing with some tragedies as well. So all my love and respect to him going through that. But that's something that when we feel like the time is right and we feel like that's what we both need to do, then we'll come to that. But until then, I am more than happy right now making sure that my guys leave Moriarty. He remains pure champion, making sure that Anthony Ogogo reaches his potential and we get some gold on him. And of course, I would be remiss if I don't focus on getting myself the Ring of Honor World Championship and the championship that I should have had 5 years ago.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this thing. I want to ask you some serious shit.
Let's get it, baby.
How do you like working at AEW? AEW. Let's just say that. How do you like working for Tony? I don't.
No.
I'm not looking for anything. I wanted to hear what you got to say.
I love it. AEW is a place. Tony gets a lot of shit, right? And a lot of it is undeserved because the man's heart is huge. He genuinely wants to help as many people as he can, and he does. He wants to put people in position to be successful. And I think he's doing the very best job that he can to handle all the shit he's got to deal with. And I don't think people realize just how busy this man is and how much shit he's got to fucking do.
Hey, Shane, I work with somebody just like him. I work with Eric Bischoff. You know, Eric Bischoff was doing the same stuff. He was doing everything.
Right. And it's like, bro, like you have to give people grace, bro. Like I don't know if it's just this society where people, I don't understand how imperfect people can demand perfection from somebody else.
Yeah.
It makes no fucking sense to me whatsoever. Right. And people are demanding all of this stuff from him, but he's human. He's going to do a lot of good stuff. He may do some stuff that you don't like, but the man is trying his best and putting as many people as he can in position to be successful, dealing with all of the bullshit that comes with not only entertainment, but comes with wrestling, all the egos, all the drama, all the politics, all the garbage. Like, you have to give people grace and you have to let people do and work that stuff out. And for the past 5 years, I think he's been doing an incredible job. And so for me, I am someone who is a loyal dude. I am a foxhole dude. I will go to war with my guys and go to war with my team. And so I'm going to back him on that and continue to fight for him.
That's good, man. You know, because I looked at Eric Bischoff the same way. Eric, he tried to do good for everybody. He wasn't doing nothing but paying. Listen, he was giving out so much money. He was helping people out. He was trying to pay everybody. He had everybody on the payroll. And the people that talked about him the most are the guys he invited in. You know, it was the guys he was paying off, the millionaires. They didn't even want to work anymore. All they wanted to do is talk about what Eric's shortcoming was. And to me, this dude right here did everything a person could do who got it. He tried to take care of everybody.
And it's so wild too that we live in a world like that, to where the people you do the most for are the first ones that got some shit to say.
Well, unless you shit on somebody's head.
Right.
If you shit on somebody's head, like the other guy over there.
I mean, like, yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
y'all ain't gonna say nothing in that, huh?
Who?
You out by yourself on that, man.
Y'all ain't gonna say nothing. Y'all ain't gonna say nothing about Vince McMahon over there.
Hey, man.
You know, I worked there.
Brother, listen, I wasn't there. I don't know the details. Right. I can't tell you nothing about it.
Well, I was there. And Vince McMahon did everything. And I thought he really liked me. We got along fine. He never tried anything with me. He was just always like a boss. He was always really good. But to hear what was going on behind closed doors, and people weren't talking about it. But now you got Tony, you got people like Eric Bischoff. They not doing anything like that, but everybody's talking about the good stuff that they're doing, trying to make a negative factor out of it.
This is social media, man. Social media is ridiculous. I mean, it can be used for so much good, but more than often, man, like, people are just looking to grab their torches and looking for a villain of the day. And when you're in this spotlight, when you're in this world, you have the advantages that it brings you, but it also brings you the heat of this platform, right? That's, unfortunately, this is what comes with it, and this is where we're at in society. But to be honest, there's just a lot of people out there who could use a good punch in the fucking mouth, really.
Yeah.
Now it's putting all this shit down.
Keyboard
now, let me
warrior.
ask you this, Shane. What kind of relationship do you have with your father?
I have a great relationship with my father. My dad is Superman to me. It wasn't always the best, but that comes with learning and growing and understanding lessons over time that maybe that when he was teaching me, I didn't get. But now Now that I'm a father, now that I've got children of my own, wife, house, career, now that I'm on this side of it, now I can look back and go, okay, right? Now, I will say he's made choices that even now I go, I don't know if I wouldn't have made that choice, but I understand why you made the choice. I see why that would have been an option. I see why you would have gone that route. I can't say that I would have done the same thing, but I wasn't in your shoes in the moment, right?
But you don't have to do the same thing, first of all, because he showed you this is not the way. This may be a good
when it comes
start.
to yeah. When it comes to stuff like that, yes.
Yeah.
When you're talking about like street stuff and all that, yeah. I meant more so like just like decisions like when you're in relationships or when you have blended families or things like that. But as far as street stuff, yeah, I mean, that was his challenge to me, was to be a better man than he was. Yeah. And I took that to heart, and that's something that I still try to apply today. That's why a lot of people, especially in this sport, haven't gotten their asses beat, right? Because I'm trying to be a better man than my father was, right? So you let shit slide because you're like, okay.
Hey, Shane, I kicked ass when I was in there.
Amen.
Hey, Big Shane, I don't care who it was, Buff Bagwell, Lex Luger, anybody could get it. But you know what I had to do? I did not want to look like that black man, that angry black man that can't control himself. So a lot of the situation I had to walk away from, even getting called the N-word, and I wanted to knock his head off. And guess what I did? I just walked away from it because I said, you know what? My kids are in private school. I'm living in $1 million home. I can't live like this without this. So I'm not going to let my foolishness take me away by making a bad choice. And I learned that from my dad.
And that's a smart lesson. And that's incredible restraint. And I'm glad you brought that up, right? Because back then, though, there were less of us than there are now, right?
Exactly.
And so many of these old school cats, so many of these people now who have positions of power, they've taken the rules of that era and somehow feel like they translate to this era, and they don't. And this is no disrespect to you or any of the legends that have come before us, because if it wasn't for y'all, we wouldn't be here. But to all those people who think like that, this current generation, myself included, we are not our ancestors, bro. We're not. Yep. We are not gonna like. And I've had to have this conversation publicly with people. There is a difference between coaching. There is a difference between giving advice, and there's a difference between talking shit. I will take coaching. I will take advice. I will take critiques. I am coachable. Give me all the knowledge you can. What I will not let you do is talk shit about me. What I will not let you do is run your fucking mouth and think there's going to be no consequence for that. This is not the 70s. This is not the 80s. This is none of those times. We aren't those people. This is not that anymore.
Well, let me ask you something, Shane. We see different things, and that's why I think we should have. I'm not going to say they should have more black producers, people in the ring that think kind of like what you guys think what we think like. Right now, how one of these guys who never walked in your shoes, never lived your life. And I'm not saying they got to be just like you or look like you, but how can you understand somebody? How can you write a storyline for somebody that said this is gonna fit him if you don't know his real life?
You can't. And when that's why one of my goals, especially as the leader and the CEO of Shane Taylor Promotions, I want to turn professional wrestling into a majority black sport, into a black dominated sport, the same way that the NBA, the same way that the NFL is. And I want that for us. I want that for our fans, and I want it for everybody, because just like you said, you can't tell me my culture. You can't write for me. You can't say how you think that I'm going to say, because you don't know where I'm from. You don't have the experience, right? The best thing that you know is you went to World Star Hip Hop and you listened to a few rap videos. You've listened to rap music your whole life, so now you think you can talk for me. No, that's not how this works. And if, like, we live in an era, right, where wrestling fans, you can tell me the difference between Tarkanian and Valerian. That's a House of Dragons, Game of Thrones things that I'm watching with the wife. You can tell me the difference between every.
Hold on, wait a minute. So you're a little nerd in there too. I got a little nerd.
Hey! I didn't ask for all that.
All right, okay. All right, go ahead.
So you can tell me the difference between all of that, but you can't tell me the difference between a character from Atlanta and a character from New York.
Oh, yeah.
There are cultural differences. We are not one monolith.
Yeah.
But so many people, and fans especially, like there are so many people who are so used to just us being put in these generic boxes and just given these generic things, and to just accept the disrespect that comes along with this sport. That's got to change, and I'm going to be the one to make sure it does. And I can't tell you how many legends like yourself that I've talked to that have told me so many sad stories about their experience in this sport, and it pisses me off, because these are the same tactics that have been used since we got here, since they brought us all of the boats. You see a strong one, you make an example of them, and then not only do you kill that initial threat, but then you make everybody else around him afraid to attempt the same thing, afraid to try the same thing. And there are some of us who just aren't scared. We're not going to be, we will never be, and that's just what it is.
Well, I'm going to tell you a story about me. When I went to WWE, I was over, because I was already over in WCW. I was that cool kind of black guy that would kick your head off and talk a little smack to you. I was that guy. Now, who couldn't write for me was the writers that WWE had. But guess what they were doing at the same time? They were writing this hip hop for this white guy to come out with the jersey on, the short pants, and yo. They were writing all this for him. And I was like, wait a minute, you can't write for me and let me be myself, but you can write for him something that came from my background. And I'm gonna tell you the story. We hit the ring together one time, him and I. And the fans were cheering for me in a dark match. I know people gonna say, oh, Cat, no, you wasn't that over. But I was over. When I came to WWE, I was over from my days in WCW. The fans hit the mic. The fans wanted me to get on the mic to say my thing, call my mama, do this right here. They told me, cut the mic. They whispered to me, give the mic back to this guy, John Cena. So he could do that yo stuff. And the crowd wasn't getting with it. But they made him do it so many times that they eventually they got with it, So that's what I'm saying. They were able to take and use what they wanted to use to get somebody over. But then somebody else, we can't think of anything to get you over. Then get some black writers.
Allowing other people to use our culture to be able to launch their careers and then have them transition to other things that appeal more to a different demographic to maintain it is not something new. With John, I will say the thing that I respect about John the most is, does he work hard? Absolutely. Hard worker, incredibly. But he's always, at least to my knowledge, has always shown respect for not only the culture, but for the people that bring it.
Hey,
right?
Let me ask you this, Shane. Shane, let me ask you. You went to college, right?
Yes, sir.
You're a smart dude.
Yes, sir.
Have you ever had the night before a test? You couldn't sleep because you were partying all night. You were drinking and kicking and partying all night, and you got an exam in the morning, first thing in the morning. You wake up at 7 o'clock and you've been out all night. You got 3 hours of sleep, right? You got three
Right.
hours of sleep. Now you got to go. You got to ace this test. You got to go take this test now. You get in there. You tell the teacher, "Hey, I was up all night. I was up all night. That's why I made a C. I was up partying all night."
Mm-hmm.
And the teacher said, "Oh yeah, you were." Now, then you hear somebody else talking. Say, "I was up all night too." But guess what? I was up all night working because I had to pay the rent. I was up all night because my mom was sick, so I was with her all night, and I came here and aced it. So when you talk about when people get over by using something, John Cena got over because there was no hassle on his back. There wasn't people looking at him to fail. People wanted to fail more because everybody looked like him. And I'm not just saying this to be kind of, I'm not a racist, Big Ray.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. But the thing is, when me and you talk about getting over by being successful in this business, we got a lot of weight on our backs. We got a lot. They're coming in. We got. They looking at you and say they
Of
want you
course
to
they are.
fail.
Of course
Swerve.
they
They
are.
look. Yeah, Swerve. That's what I'm saying. All this stuff you talk about, Swerve. You talk about him doing shoes. He doing movies. He doing all this. He doing all. Guess what? He got to do that just to solidify who he is in his life as a wrestler. He's a champion. But guess what? When Goldberg was champion, one of my best friends, he didn't have to do all that. The only thing he had to do is focus on being the champion. All that stuff everybody else focused on.
But this is why. This is why, especially in this sport, I want to be able to bring more of us in, because there's nothing that we're going to be able to change as long as things stay the way they are, right? So, and I already know when this hits the internet, what's going to happen, right? So two things are going to happen. First, you're going to get an outpouring of people going, he wants more black people. That must mean he wants less white people. It's not what I said. Don't be fucking stupid. And then what you're also going to get, right, is you are going to get different people who look like me, who, whether or not people reacted negatively, which I'm sure some will, it'll be their job to kind of come in and then they tweet about their experience and try to like nullify what I'm saying. And that's fine. That's going to happen. But this is regardless of how anybody feels about it. This is a white dominated sport that markets to a majority of white fans. And that's the industry that we walked into. Now, if we want change in this sport, we're going to have to change the dynamic. But that's on us to be able to do that. So that's on us to be able to bring more black fans in, have more black wrestling talent, have more black writers. But eventually, that's going to creep up into black ownership. That's going to have to be the thing. That's going to have to be the driving force that we all get behind it. And there are already a few. You've got Booker T's Reality of Wrestling down here in Texas. You've got Ashe Wrestling in the Carolinas with Darius Lockhart. I'm trying to. Those might be the only two.
Well, you got Ray here. My partner Ray is part on. You could tell him, Ray, you part on in a movie production company.
Well, I wouldn't say that now, but yeah, Swirl Films out of Atlanta is the largest urban filmmaker in the world. I mean, they found a niche, and we exploited that niche because nobody else was doing it other than Tyler Perry. But Tyler Perry's doing it on such a larger scale with larger films and whatnot. We, focus more on like, TV One, Bounce, Hallmark, those types, A&E, stuff like that, where you're doing those Christmas movies and stuff like that. I'm sure you've seen several of our, our films and stuff. If if you're part of the culture and you watch, black movies, you've seen a Swirl Films production. Believe me, because we've done, almost 1,000 of them.
And that lets you know that we are marketable, but people aren't dumb to that fact. People know that our culture is very marketable. Our dances are marketable. Our music is marketable. Our slang is marketable. The problem that people have is they just don't want to market us and give the same respect that they do other people, unless, right? Because again, people on socials are fucking stupid, and they'll hear this and they'll go and they're not going to listen to what I'm saying, right? So unless you follow certain criteria, and one of the main ones is you have to be safe. You have to be safe. You have to be lovable. You have to be huggable. You have to be able to, you have to make sure that nothing you say, nothing you do goes against certain ideologies. Otherwise, what they do is they act like you're a guest, and they'll go, well, if you say anything, we'll take all this away from you.
Damn. Hey, guess what, Shane? I didn't know you were this smart, man. I brought you on the show to talk about your wrestling career. Boy, you the one. You to turn it up 2 or 3 notches.
Brother, I'm the one.
You turn up. You thinking way above the credit I gave you. You're a smart dude, a young dude. You got plans. But let's go back to wrestling, cause we don't want.
Can I say one more thing? Let me. Can I just say one thing before we move off this topic? Because I think it's a valid topic, and it's something that should be explored. Cat and I have been talking for probably a little over a year now about what we have, a little vanity project that was trying to get off the ground and actually have Swirl try to help us produce it. It's called ABW, All Black Wrestling, and it was going to be basically like what you were saying. And, you know, commissioner was going to be black. The ring announcer was going to be black. The champion was going to be white.
The whole thing.
But the champion was going to be white. And we was going to have the chase on, and we were going to chase this white boy to death. You know what I'm saying? So
how does the colonizer still win?
We were going to take 400. We were going to take 450 years out on this motherfucker. What we was going.
Listen,
we already had our plan.
Listen, the ride's gonna be crazy, but that fall got to be tremendous.
Yeah,
it's got to be tremendous for that
to do that. To market, and I mean this with all due respect. And you know, usually when somebody says all due respect, they about to say some disrespectful shit,
right? Yep.
But no, I mean this honestly. You got to have the culture get behind it and spend their money on it. If they don't spend their money on it, and I mean this humbly when I say that the reason that maybe wrestling predominantly promotes to white people is because these white ass youngins jumping up and down going, daddy, 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 buy me this shirt. Buy me this shirt. You know, and a black man say, shut the hell up. I ain't finna buy you shit. Well, my kids don't get that shirt.
Hold on. Let me tell you this right here though, Ray. What you just said is why I made $5 million. And I'm going to tell you why. Because somebody told me that, Ernest, you're not working tonight here in Tupelo, Arizona, because
it's black Tupelo, people, Mississippi, man.
No, I'm just saying. It was boondoggle. It could have been anywhere, but I'm just saying.
Because he made that racial comment to you.
You're not going to sell. You're not going to sell here in this small town because all the white folks, they go buy the black product. But guess what they made him do? Eric Bischoff said, put him on the card. Let's see. I got the highest Monday night rating that night. So you got people saying blacks don't want to support blacks.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that it has to happen. You can't start it because we're going to lose so much money out the gate that you won't be able to sustain it.
Here's the issue, right? Black people love wrestling just as much as any other group.
Exactly.
The issue is black people and black talent have never really been in control of how their star and how their careers are cultivated. Like it's always been controlled by somebody else, right? And because of the disappointment, because of the heartbreak, because of the constant letdowns that we've seen over the years, because of the constant stereotypical characters, because of the constant bullshit that they've had to endure from professional wrestling. We are a fan base that is very much jaded. We are a fan base that is very much skeptical. And so even when we get good things, instead of just enjoying those good things, it almost becomes a countdown to when it's going to end. And that's the issue that you have right now. We have to make people, we have to give them something to believe in. We have to give them something to rally behind. And that is what it is. You can't just say, okay, here's a black champion, because they go, okay, we've seen that before. How long is it until you feed him to this guy, or feed him to that guy, or feed him to this guy? How long is it until you make this black person a joke or effeminate or any other thing? When is the shoe going to drop on this person? Because we've been conditioned to see that.
And I agree with you 100%. They did the same thing to Swerve. Even when,
I mean, Swerve is still a main event guy. He's been busting his ass. But that's why I tweeted, he has done everything that people said he couldn't do.
Right.
At a time when, again, he's getting it on both sides. Right? He's getting it from this group. He's getting it from that group. And for him to be able to block out all of that and just go, nah, I'm going to do my shit. I'm going to shut y'all up, and I'm going to shut y'all up. You know what I mean?
He'll get it back. He'll get it back. They pigeonholed it.
100% he will.
100% he pigeonholed it.
But we always got to come back from something. We'll get it back. They should never take it from him.
Well, they pigeonholed him by saying Bryan Danielson's career's on the line, and you know, he's not ready to fully retire yet. So you knew, even Stevie Wonder saw this title was going to change hands. I mean, it was going to change hands. He's never had the belt.
Bryan Danielson is the GOAT. That's what he is. If there's anybody
that's who you wrestled. That's who you wrestled that night I saw you.
Oh yeah. Even with that one again. Yeah. And I've been in the ring with him. I know Danielson's heart. I know his determination. I know his skill, right? And he's been showing it for 2 decades plus. Right. I mean, if there was anybody that's going to take the championship from Swerve, it's the GOAT. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
it had to be him.
It had to be in a Super Bowl. It's gonna be Brady. If there's anybody that's gonna beat you in a Super Bowl, if there's anybody that's gonna beat you for a championship, it might as well be Jordan. You know what I mean? So, like,
I like to hear that.
I don't think that's an issue, and I think most people, the majority of people, can see that and go, all right. You know, if it had to be anybody, okay, it's Danielson. And real quick.
Go ahead.
Historically, right, through Danielson's career, he has been such a big proponent of making sure that everybody was treated fairly. Let's not forget who Kofi won the championship from.
Correct. And that's where I was going. It's funny that
let's
you segued into Kofi.
Who Homicide won the championship from.
Listen.
You know what I'm saying? When in Ring of Honor, he lost the world championship to Homicide, right? And when you look at a guy like Homicide, who also is a legend, I'm sure there are a lot of people who are like, a guy like that, from a place like that, speaking the way he does, can't lead a company, can't be a world champion. But then you're in there with a guy like Danielson, he goes, nah, yes, he can, right? And the same thing with Kofi, right? Kofi, there was a lot of people who I'm sure thought he can't lead this, he can't do this. But then he caught fire. He's in there with Danielson. He shocks the world. He makes history, as he should, because the man's a legend, right? So once again, if you're going to be in there with someone and you're going to lose to someone, not only is he the GOAT, but he's also someone who historically over his career has respected your culture, has respected the people that he's worked with, and has respected all the talent around him. Can't be mad at that. Can't.
Well, when you were explaining about how black wrestlers are perceived and how you have to walk this fine line like you're going to be a guest and whatnot, who I was thinking was, it's while you were talking was, it's a new day. Yes, it is. You know, because you come out with this, it's a new day, but you dress them in this feminine BS with this unicorn bullshit and bootios and all this bullshit when they're the most recognized tag team. They've won more tag team championships than anybody in WWE history. They've got the most. So whatever it is, 13, 14, whatever the hell it was. And then you had Big E that was the champion. And then you've had Kofi that's the champion. And then, of course, he gets destroyed in like 28 seconds by Brock Lesnar, which I thought was absolute bullshit. So looking at it from that perspective, I see through out of your eyes, I see how this is portrayed. And it's like you can't win. It's like they give us a shot, they give us a main event spot, but then they make us look like a fucking joke.
Here's the thing about them, and shouts out to every single one of those men. Incredible talents. My guy Andres Hale and Big E also have Our Heroes Rock, and it's an animated series about Black history. I think they just had the one with Ruby Bridges, so definitely go check that out. But they are a prime example of succeeding in spite of, right? And they have done that no matter what they were given. They absolutely knocked it out of the fucking park. Things that other characters maybe wouldn't even have survived, they managed to take it, run with it, make it popular, and they are responsible because, once again, I said Black people are not a monolith, right? So what they were able to do is take that comic book, anime, Black nerd demographic, bring that to the forefront and introduce that to mainstream wrestling audiences and to mainstream society in general. And for the first time, you have that group who they face battles as well, because not only are they in spaces that are, again, still dominated by white people, but they face the same racism, they face the same bigotry, and then on top of that, they face it from us going, why are you doing that? Oh, you're not really Black if you do this. You're not really Black if you do that. So they're facing shit from everywhere. So what they were able to do as Black talent is be able to delve into that world, bring that world over here, while simultaneously taking any sort of bullshit that they were given and still making it work. And what that is a testament to those men. That is a testament to their hard work, their drive, and their dedication. And to be able to do all that and have that success and then have it culminate in 2 out of the 3 of them achieving the impossible. They are Hall of Famers. They are legends. And each of them have their own right. Each of them can go into the Hall of Fame for their individual careers. But as a group, first ballot Hall of Famers, my hat's off to them. Absolutely. And they've done an incredible job.
Give me your 5 all-time Hall of Famers. Your Mount Rushmore. Give me your 5 faces. Now it's okay if you don't say me, because I want people to think you're sucking up. So go ahead and speak yours.
Number 1 out of the gate, 4-time current champ. No, so if we're going Black wrestlers, I would say Ron Simmons is up there. The Rock is up there. And here's the thing too. And when I say that, a lot of people go, well, he's this, he's that. Motherfucker, what I said earlier, we do not have the luxury of picking where our wins come from. The Rock is a fucking Black man. He is also Samoan. The motherfucker has done everything there is to do, not just in wrestling, but he's had to have lived one of the top 5 lives of all time. You know what I'm saying? From going from football to wrestling to acting to doing the things that he's doing. That is a fucking win for us.
Stop. Hey, wait a minute. Now you're getting a little ahead of yourself. The Cat been there too. Football, karate.
Listen, I know.
Come on now.
I know.
Listen.
The Rock was not.
Hey,
the Rock was not.
You hadn't realized this is the Cat's corner.
Hey, I didn't make $30-40 million, baby.
I know, brother. But you gotta let me get to the list.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You gotta let me get to the list.
Right. So overstep my boundary. Go ahead.
So
we got Simmons, The Rock.
We got Ron. We got The Rock. I think you have to go Kofi because of his accomplishments. And as long as he's been doing it, I think you have to go Booker T as well.
Okay.
Again, he's one of those. I call them the immortals. Like for the people who've been able to be the guy and be the number one guy, that is, it's damn near impossible. And for us, it's because then you also have women like Jazz, you have Jacqueline that have paved the way. You've got so many of us who are so many of our legends that people tend to forget about. So it's very hard to just put, four people out there.
Well, how about this then? Who would be number one overall, black or white, man, woman, or beast? Who would be the first one? Who is your all-time favorite? Now you can let that little Malcolm X shit go for a minute. And give me your guy. Give me your person. It could be white, black, or whatever. Who is your favorite? All-time greatest.
Undertaker.
Woo, yeah. Yes. Hey, Undertaker, it's not that he's the best, it's the way he put himself together. And the way he treat everybody the same way, no matter what you black, white. If you need a minute, he'll take time to talk to you. So I applaud that.
And he's been one of my favorites. And when not only from the Dead Man stage, but the American Badass stage, all the way through his transitions to understand when to change it up, how to change it up. The dude has been, he's the phenom, you know what I mean? And especially with his WrestleMania showcases, to be able to perform on the biggest stage and bring the best every single time. It's been insane to watch. Him and Michaels won. I want to say it was WrestleMania 25.
I believe it is 25. It's 25 or
25.
26.
Like
they did it back to back.
26. Yeah. To go out there and put on arguably the greatest matches of all time, two of the greatest matches ever in the history of the sport. It's and like I said, there's a difference between being the best and being the baddest, right? Being the best is subjective. If you like high flying wrestling, then maybe maybe your views of who the best is are going to be shifted, but you can't deny who the fucking baddest is. And Undertaker is definitely one of the baddest of all time. And so if I'm putting him number one up there, it's got to be him. It's got to be him.
Hey, bro, listen. That's a good one right there. He's a good guy, one of my good friends. So, I like to hear that. I like to hear that about it. Have you ever met Goldberg before?
I don't think so.
You haven't? Goldberg's a good guy. Huh. How about Ric Flair?
I've met Flair before.
What do you think about Flair?
Flair is cool.
You can be honest on this show.
Flair is cool. Flair is cool. I mean, most of the time, like when I meet people, it's quick and in passing. I understand his reputation, but when I meet people and you can't look me in the eye and shake my hand, it's a different thing for me. So all the respect is given for what he's done. I'm not going to talk bad about the man, but Flair is cool.
Okay,
Flair is Flair.
I'm reading between the lines, and I share the same sentiment.
I am a guy that there's no lines to read with me. I will tell you what it is and what it's not. You know what I mean? And cool. Like that initial thing. Oh, bet. All right, word. I keep it moving, and that's what it is. Cool. It's cool. That's what it is.
When you were a kid, were you a Dusty Rhodes fan?
I was a Dusty Rhodes fan.
Me too.
Yeah.
I would say he'd be my favorite.
That's
Hey, but we're not asking for your favorite.
I'm just
Ray.
saying. I'm just
smart.
saying.
You a
Team
Mark.
Cat.
You a Mark. We ain't asking for your thing. We got this great wrestler on our show. We need to get what he feel, his perspective, and he's been doing a good job, man. And I want to thank you, bro. I want to thank you for spending your time, and you did not have to come on, but you did it, and I really appreciate that.
Me too.
And
Well, thank you for having me, because you didn't have to invite me, but you did. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you're here with me. So I appreciate that.
And that show my appreciation.
Jay-Z.
When I meet somebody like you, young, now this is your time. It's not my time anymore. This is your time. So I'm just trying to get in where you in, and see what you do. I'm trying to live through you. I would love to have your boys Strickland Swerve on this show. And I talked to him a couple of times. Matter of fact, I talked to him the first week in AEW. I knew nothing about him. He stopped me and said, "Hey, Cat, how you doing?" He said he had just got released from I think on WWE. So we didn't know how and what direction to go. But I talked to him. Somebody told me, he said, "No, he gonna be pretty good." I forgot who told me that, but one of the guys back, I said, "Yeah, that's a nice guy." So he was kind of quiet to himself. So he gonna be pretty good, man. I'd love to get him on the show. So if you can put in a good word for the Cat, let him know, I'll bring him in first class if I had to.
Hey man, you gonna need to, because he just got that new deal, my boy.
Hey, bro, come on, man.
You're gonna have to come with it, baby.
He might have to give Uncle Cat a few dollars there since he just got that new deal.
Hey man, listen, I saw them. I know nothing of the details, right? But I feel like anytime you sign your deal live, or anytime you sign your deal and it's on pay-per-view, then you probably get a nice chunk of money. You know what I'm saying? It's probably not bad.
But let me tell you this: you could never believe what you see on TV now, too.
This is true.
That's can never believe it. I've been there. Shit, I signed my contract behind doors in a corner with the lights off by myself because I didn't want people to know how much money I was about to get. You
was out there. You was out there taking money.
I was out there taking it, baby. But listen here, Big Ray. Go ahead and shout out the Recite, baby. Go ahead.
Recite, Metro Atlanta's only place to go for your construction needs. Please visit recite.com and check them out. They are wonderful hosts on the Cat's Corner podcast. We couldn't do it without Recite.
And Big Shane, man, listen, I'm so glad, man. Anybody you want to shout out? And what do you have coming up next? I know you said you injured and you working your way back, but what do you have? What's coming in for you?
I'm actually about to fly out to LA in 2 days to do the F Y'all podcast with CT Fletcher and my boy Mike Wright. So we about to go do that.
Tell CT the Cat said hello, man.
I absolutely will.
Telling the Cat said hello. Him and what's his name? Ice Train. Ice Train I think he was his uncle or cousin, but Ice Train, one of my best friends. He just rest in peace. He just passed away a couple of months ago, heart attack.
Yes,
so
sir.
So we kind of spoke. So that's good, man. That's great.
Yeah.
We had him on the show.
Staying busy while I got this time off. But yeah, we're gonna go out there and then gonna be headed to Sioux Falls, and I'm still going on the road because even though my shoulder is hurt, I can still run. I can still run my mouth. So we're gonna be out there doing our thing.
Oh yeah, you can run your mouth. That's one thing I see now. I thought you could just move. You can run your damn mouth.
Oh yeah, we talk that shit a little bit over here. You know,
you got to get them promos in. Get everybody interested.
Glacier Ray Lord is now working with you guys.
Yes,
He's one of my best friends. Can you give him a hard time for me? Can you please say this from the Cat?
Absolutely.
Hey, absolutely. So who are some of the guys back in the back that you enjoy working with? I know you got QT Marshall.
Yeah, he's back there. For sure. He's one of them. You have I'm blessed to be able to work with a lot of people that I enjoy working with. First and foremost is Lee Moriarty and Anthony Gogo, but also I've gotten to be in the ring with Danielson, in the ring with Ospreay, in the ring with Swerve and Keith Lee, in the ring with Samoa Joe, in the ring with Moxley and Claudio and Wheeler Yuta. To be able to share the ring with tremendous talents like that, talents that all push you and try to make you better in their own way. It's been great. And then behind the scenes, you got guys like Will Washington, right? Who are unsung heroes who are in there fighting for, creatively fighting for different things for us to be able to do, and ways to express ourselves, and ways to, to explore all the dope characters that you get to see on TV every week. To be able to sit down and learn from Athena, right? One of the greatest women's wrestlers on the planet, one of the greatest women's wrestlers of all time. I don't care who gets fucking mad about it. That's what it is.
You just said something it just touched me in a way, because you said you get to explore some of those characters you see on TV. Mm-hmm. When I came into wrestling, I did not know how and where I was going to get that from.
Right.
Until Scott Hall sat down in front of me. Scott Hall said, "Hey, Cat, listen here. Go watch TV, and any character you see over there, pull it off and take it and just do it over and over." And I just still couldn't figure it out till he showed me his character. When he came out with the gold hanging, who was that character?
Scarface.
Yeah. He came out with that character, man.
Hey.
And so that's when I went.
Hey, dripping with machismo, baby.
Yeah,
come on,
Losing machismo.
Hey, man, but working with those guys like that, man, that's when I came up with my favorite, Muhammad Ali and James Brown, baby. Can you imagine if Muhammad Ali could dance like James Brown could fight like Muhammad Ali? That'll be an ass-kicking, shit-talking motherfucker.
But what about Fred Sanford? You got Fred in there too.
See, that's when the white folks always come up with some bullshit.
Damn well you stole Red Fox's gig.
As we get going, they want to throw a monkey wrench just to get us back.
You treat me like Lamont.
Hey,
as soon as you said it, I said, here we go. Oh, here we go.
Hey, Big Shave, man, listen, thanks for coming, man, and I appreciate this, man.
Yes, sir.
If you ever want to come back on, man, all you got to do is reach out to me, baby. Reach out to me, and we'll do that, bro. If you ever need anything, Uncle E, the cat, I'm here for you, all right?
Yes, sir. Truly appreciate that. Thank you again for having me on.
All right, brother.
I don't look like I'm part of the culture, but don't treat me like an average cracker, okay? I'm not. I'm not your average cracker. All right. We appreciate having you on, Mr. Taylor. Best of luck in the future, and we will be watching for sure.
Thank you very much.
All right, brother.
I will be anyway. He don't watch wrestling, but I keep up with all of it. So,
all right, brother.
I'm going to put a show on for you.